Hello, and welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike, and with me, as always, is your other co-host, John. John, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. I'm almost always. Last week I wasn't there, but it was a
That's true.
fantastic podcast. So, yeah,
It
nailed it out of
was.
the
It
park.
was great. We had Galen from Crimson Cast, and he was
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gone off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who's watched and listened. It is definitely high on new high for the podcast on watch hours and total views.
Yeah.
So far. So we appreciate all you Indiana fans and all Big Ten fans. We are here to serve the entire Big Ten football watching community. So yeah, it's awesome to have you on board. And you can check out, we're in the middle of our preview series. We've already done several aside from Indiana. So you can go back and check those out. They're all linked in a playlist on the YouTube page. And yeah, thanks for coming and checking it out.
Yeah. Much appreciated. And again, fantastic job. We really appreciate, Crimson Cast contributing and helping us out for sure.
Yeah, Galen's the best, man. Galen is the best for IU sports, period. He is.
Mhm.
It was like really cool to have him on the podcast. You know what I screwed up though, John? We had a time window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to bring up the fact, or I didn't really forget. I just kind of ran out of time to talk about the fact that Galen was instrumental in bringing back Hoosier the Bison.
No way.
Yeah, because he works in
incredible.
the IU media department.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
So hopefully, I'm hoping he'll come back on the podcast later. When there's more time, or and things aren't so crazy, and we could have a discussion about how he got Indiana back into the world of having a mascot. So now we only have 2 Big Ten schools left who lack mascots.
Take note, Michigan and Illinois. Come on. Make it happen.
Yeah. You're not getting the job done. That's what you're not doing. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's really cool. I mean, and again, thank you to all the new subscribers. There's also I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on, I guess, in the greater college football world. We talked about a little bit, we've mentioned before with NIL and all this kind of stuff, and they're talking about collectives going away potentially.
They're trying to talk about bringing them in-house.
Okay.
And the new thing with this commission that's overseeing all this stuff is that they're rejecting, they're investigating all NIL deals of $600 or more. You're legally required to report on, and they're basically rejecting a lot of standard NIL deals and saying they're pay for play, which yes, of course they are.
Yeah.
What do you think? Jeez, are we confused about what we're doing here? Like, are you really going to pretend this is a promotional thing?
Yeah.
And that's not, we're so far past that.
Yeah.
And it kind of annoys me that they want to put it back in the box and they want to go back into the world where the schools play by the rules, most of them, but those rascally SEC schools have bagmen. And so they get the top talent and it's the most fun to watch their league. And I just don't think that world's coming back.
No. Well, and not only do they get the bag, but they're never investigated. So we're going to investigate $600, NIL deals.
Yeah. Western Illinois, we're going to get on them or some Big Ten team, but God forbid we investigate the SEC.
Yeah. We somehow they continue to get away with it and look like they're squeaky clean, which is just not true. It can't be.
And it's just, there's been a leveling of the playing field.
Yep.
Having NIL be out in the open.
Yep.
It's going to exist regardless in college football. It always has. And, whether that's bagmen or big donors or whatever, or job inducements or, any number of other inducements over the years and the decades and the centuries. This goes back really far.
Yeah.
So the idea that college football is suddenly going to be a place where we're not bribing players, of course we're bribing players. And we should do it out in the open so that everybody can do it, which is what we've done the last few years. And guess what? It's brought parity to college football, and it has destroyed the SEC hegemony over the sport.
Yeah, and their fragile egos. It's amazing.
And they want it back, man. They want it back badly. They want to go back to the world where they can pay and we can't, and na-na-na-na-na-na. SEC. That's what they want back. And you know what? I don't think we're willing to let them to give that back. And here's the thing. I don't think any of this is holding up in court. I just don't.
No.
Because the players aren't even allowed to collectively bargain. And until the players are allowed to collectively bargain, I don't understand how you're going to argue that there's any limit on what's allowed for NIL.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to hold up in court at all. Not with the courts we have right now in the United States. And it's going to escalate, and they're going to be, it's going to be a thing, and it's going to be a big case. And I hope, it's like, do I love that it opens it up for billionaires to kind of own the sport? No, I don't love that, but I love that we can actually compete evenly across conferences and not have one league that's cheating while everybody else is following the rules more or less.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, man. And it's just, it's due time. And everyone, except for probably SEC fans across the board in college football, talked about even the national media talked about how there's so much more parity and this is so much more fun to watch. And instead of watching the same, 5 to 8 to 10, teams every single year reach it to the same place and get into the playoff, and those same SEC teams getting the benefit of the doubt, even with an 8 conference schedule and a layup in late November. It's the fact that it's still a debate, and the fact that, Greg Sankey talked about it again at SEC Media Days. I only read like a quick blurb about how we're still debating whether back and forth, like what's best for us in the college football playoff and blah, blah. It's like, dude, and now
he's calling for 5 plus 11 and for staying at 8 conference games.
And
that's ridiculous. That's like, I'm going to have rainbows and I'm going to have unicorns. Get out of here. That's not how this works.
Well, and I read something too, which I'm not entirely I don't know if it was Nicole Auerbach or who it was, but it was someone official that talked about how the Big Ten is the last holdout now. So it makes me wonder, did the SEC bribe the Big 12 and the ACC to now call for 5 and 11, which is signing their own death warrant, as we've already spoken about.
It is,
previously.
but they can't. They're in between a rock and a hard place because they don't feel like they can admit they're in an inferior league.
True.
And if you sign up for auto bids, where the SEC and the Big Ten have double what you have, you're admitting you're in an inferior league.
True.
And they don't want to do that, and I get it. I get it from a recruiting perspective. They don't want the perception nationwide to get even more that it's the Big Ten and SEC and then everybody else.
Yeah.
They don't want that. So I get where it's coming from. We got to be realistic here about where we're at. And I'm glad that Tony Petitti is signaling that we could just stay at a 12-team playoff if they can't come to, an agreement over a 16-team model. Yeah. They could just punt it down the road and leave it at 12. And you know what could happen, John? When the Big 12 gets 0 or 1 teams in this year's, or 1 team in this year's playoff, they might suddenly think auto bids are a great idea.
It's true.
Same with the ACC. That could happen too. No, I think the ACC is a little safer because they have the 3 helmet schools at the top and then everybody else kind of. So I think they have a better chance of sending teams to the playoff. But the Big 12, I think they're in trouble unless Utah's really good.
Yeah,
which is possible. Kyle Whittingham's been really good before, but unless they're really good to the point where they're bulletproof, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm I don't either. And I think it's just, I'm confident that Tony Petitti is never going to agree to 5 plus 11. And the only way that would ever happen is if the SEC agrees to go to 9 conference games. And they should anyways, but I think they
need to go to 9 conference games. It's such a farce to even debate it at this time. And it'll be more inventory. They'll make more money anyway. It's just math, period. And you can say you think the SEC is superior, and maybe some years you're right and some years you're wrong. But the point is, it's not fair for the Big Ten to automatically have 9 more conference losses than the SEC.
Yeah.
So the SEC's got 16 teams, the Big Ten's got 18, and the Big Ten is going to just automatically have 9 more conference losses if the SEC stays at 8 games. And you know what? The ACC can't stay at 8 games either.
Nope.
They need to go to 9 also. period. Like we need uniformity there. We at least need that.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's bonkers that the Big 12 is going along with this, and they do play 9 conference games. I think that's insane. But anyway, and there's, and then Garrett Nussmeier from LSU also had to open his mouth about how, it's different in the SEC. It's so much tougher. And I think didn't Pavia also say that? And so, like, all these quarterbacks, of teams.
Didn't Garrett Nussmeier lose to a 6-6 USC team last year?
He sure did.
Because I'm pretty sure we watched that game together.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And we were like, wow, those were good quarterbacks and bad defenses.
Yep.
And they were.
Yeah. But Riley Moss had enough in him, and Garrett Nussmeier just didn't. So that's the way it came out. But anyway,
Miller Moss,
sorry. Yeah.
What
was I saying? Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, no, that's somebody else, I think.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's it's just interesting again how this narrative has continued to be pushed, and SEC media days, obviously it's just, you expect nothing else in the national media to jump all over it. But
and Diego Pavia went 7-6. Don't beat your chest. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, congratulations, you've had a nice career arc from New Mexico State to here. You and Jerry Kill. I want to know what those conversations are like. I can't even like picture it. But regardless, come on. Yeah. Like, let's be real. And I wish the media would be realistic about what's happened on the field the last couple of years.
Same.
And just say, hey, the Big Ten won the titles, and that's our measuring stick in this sport. And to the victor go the spoils. And they also dominated the postseason head-to-head against the SEC 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And like, just admit that. That's not a big deal. It doesn't hurt you. But they don't even have to work for ESPN. Even the CBS people. Yep. It's like they work for ESPN. They're so in like, and they're like, well, now we have to talk about conference depth when we're judging. Was never the discussion. We never heard about conference depth when Saban was on his tear. We said, who has the biggest juggernauts? It's the SEC.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. There was a guy on Twitter today that, like, because I was making an argument against, the 5+11 and not going to 9 conference games, and he was referring to the 4 automatic qualifiers, and he said, well, what about okay, so you want 4 automatic qualifiers? Like, you want the Big Ten to get that, even though all 4 are going to suck? I was like, what point are you? And this is how delusional SEC fans are, to think that all 4 teams from the Big Ten are terrible, even though.
Have they been in a coma since 2021?
Yeah, like
what are we talking about?
Have you seen the results? Like, do you remember who won the national title the last 2 years? Like, and who's winning in the postseason? Like, I just, it's so crazy to me that they're so delusional. They've convinced themselves, then they're denying reality. That's what's so hilarious to the whole thing. But anyway. So that's that. And then, and before we get into previewing Maryland and Northwestern, I just wanted to once again tell everybody, if you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat. And you can find Mike here at Alibaba26 and me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. You can also email us, We Live for Saturday, b1g@gmail.com. Cool.
Awesome. Should we get into these previews?
Let's do it.
Cool. Should we start with the Terrapins?
Let's do that, yes.
So Maryland went just 4-8 last year. And that was after a 3-year spike where they did pretty well, but not great, right? I think they went 7-6, 8-5, 8-5, I want to say, with Tua.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
And it was like enough for Maryland to justify Tua's existence. Or not Taulia, excuse me. Taulia's existence.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't enough to recruit another Taulia.
No.
At least not right away. We'll see if Malik Washington is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't enough to get a new one right away and have one ready. And so Mike Locksley kind of fell flat on his face last year. So now he's in. I mean, John, would you agree that this is a prove-it year for Mike Locksley?
In so many ways. Yeah, he's coaching for his job, man. Has to be.
Yeah. No, I think so. And he's had time. He's had time to put everything into place. And we'll talk later about whether we think he's going to keep his job or not, once we get to the scheduled game and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's prove it time for Mike Locksley. It's Uncle Mike. It's time. It's put up or shut up. And the Terrapins have a favorable schedule. They do. And that's important too, when you're in a year like this, when you need to make it happen. So there's a lot of pressure in College Park, man. I got to imagine those meetings are tense.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's something, you and I have been talking about. There's just unfortunately for Mike Locksley, as great of a play caller as he is, and his ability to develop quarterbacks and wide receivers and whatnot, these skill position players, which he does. He just lacks at the most important, part of the game, and that's in the trenches, man. And and it's really bad. It's very glaring, and
it's been consistently bad.
Yeah. So, and you can't survive in the Big Ten like that. And honestly, at this point in time, I think in college football in general, I don't think you can survive anywhere like that at this point. You may be a little bit, but you may fare better off in some other conferences, but when you're in a power conference, it's just not gonna work out. So yeah.
Right on. All right. Yeah. Well, let's see when we talk about if Locksley can turn it around, we should talk about the offense. And John, I know we're going to turn it over to you, but before we talk about that, can I just talk about the Pep Hamilton situation?
Sure.
Because the offense is Locksley's baby, right? So his OC is probably less important than other people's offensive coordinator picks, right? Because ultimately Locksley's the one, designing that offense and all that kind of stuff. But Pep Hamilton is not an inspiring hire. He hasn't coached since 2022 when he was the Houston Texans offensive coordinator. His past OC stops include Stanford and the Indianapolis Colts. Hiring a guy who's been out of football for multiple years in a season where you have to win games to show improvement to save your job is a crazy strategy to me. So I think Locksley was insane to make this hire. He needs to win next year. I mean, how much help is he going to get from a guy who hasn't been coaching in 3 years and hasn't been in college football since 2018? Like, is this the guy who's going to unlock schematically innovative stuff that's going to help you win games? Or was this just an excuse to hire one of your buddies? Because, I don't know, man. What do you think? I think it's crazy.
I mean, is he going full Uncle Mike? He's just bringing in his buddies because he just wants to have one more swing at the apple cart. I don't know, man. Just having it. You know what? If I'm going to go out, I'm going to have a good time with my friends.
Adam Sandler in every movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Locksley is thinking at all at this point in time. I mean, he's got to see the writing on the wall. He's not a stupid man, So no. I feel like he understands. It's just how much does he care, at this point in time, and is he already looking for another job? Is he?
Pep Hamilton's going to call the plays, John. Yeah. He's going to call the plays. Is he ready for that? He hasn't been in college football in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's been sharp. Maybe he's just been grinding film in those last 2 years, and he's gonna come out like Brett Bielema and know more than he knew before. But I don't know. I'm not convinced.
I'm not either. Really not. I don't even know if Locksley's going to survive the season. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So. Well, let's not get there. We gotta be positive about some things before we get into whether or not Mike Locksley's getting fired. So why don't you introduce the offense?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Maryland's offense I'll go back a little bit here. In 2024, Maryland ranked top 30 nationally in passing yards per game. It was driven by high volume and explosive wideouts Felton and Prather, who were fantastic. I mean, made Billy Edwards look incredible at times. Yeah. They were, just absolute force of nature sometimes during those games. But behind it, it was a compromised offensive line. Obviously, we've talked about that before. Even prior to the season, he didn't really know who his starters were going to be. It was crazy.
He was looking for, remember we watched the spring game and they announced they're like, Mike Locksley is looking for multiple starters in the offensive line, the transfer portal. I was like, multiple starters? It's Mike, it's May. What are we talking about? It didn't end up great.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and it's I don't know how it's going to look this year. I mean, there's some hope and some positive outlook, I guess, in some position, but essentially what this came out to be is like every once in a while they had a decent ground game, but it was never consistent. It would last maybe about a half until it was shut down. And the ground game eventually, because it did get shut down so quickly, is that it was in the bottom third in efficiency. The offense effectively became quick passes and screens. It was a 2-to-1 pass run ratio, 17% third and long conversion rate. For 2025, I guess
That's rough.
Yeah.
17 on third down. Oof.
Really bad.
Yeah.
So, the big question is whether the O-line can elevate the run game and give the quarterback more flexibility, or if Maryland can remain a high wire pass heavy act. I mean, to me, what worked so well with when Talia was there is the fact that he was so mobile and he could improvise a lot. And that's what, unfortunately, due to the lack of consistent offensive line play, like you need a quarterback like that. So, is Malik Washington going to be that guy? He's a high profile four-star recruit. He's got a big arm. Supposedly, he's a quick learner. He is pretty mobile from what I've heard. I haven't really seen him in full effect, not to the point where he's like been running around like Talia, but like Talia was
a freak though.
He was special.
He was a special athlete for sure.
Yeah.
You're not going to find another Talia probably athletically. Imagine
if Talia would have been on like a team that he was surrounded with more talent in an offensive line, like not even like Ohio State or whatever like that, but like
if he had been 2 inches taller, I mean, it's a whole different discussion.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Yeah, no, you're right. Talia was a special player. So do you think that it's going to be Malik Washington? Because like Justin Martin transferred from UCLA. Yep. He looked really good at times last year. I think it's really interesting because it's like, what's Loxley's philosophy? Does he start the more experienced Martin because he's in win now mode? Or does he play the true Frost Washington with the idea that if he shows promise, it could save his job?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know where you go with that. And or does he play both guys? Is it like a Tim Tebow, Chris Leak thing where like Justin Martin's the starter, but Malik Washington has a bunch of packages and they feature him a lot? I don't know. It's going to have to be something creative, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be something creative. I wouldn't be surprised if at the beginning of the season he kind of plays both quarterbacks and see where they're at. I mean, Justin Martin, I don't recall, did he play in the Minnesota game or did he?
No, I don't.
Was that
think so.
Iowa? Was it Iowa he had to go in?
I want to say it was Iowa,
yeah,
but I'd have to go back and look.
I mean, he looked okay. He's a competent quarterback.
He's an athlete.
Yeah. So he might be, I don't know for sure. He might fit the system better. It's really tough to say. I mean, I think as of right now, I think Malik Washington is favored, but only maybe slightly, and
but
one
he's favored and he's the true Frost, then he's probably going to win.
Yeah. But if he, I think one screw up and he might get, benched pretty quickly. So,
sure.
We'll see, because I also think you have to take into consideration with someone with, like Malik Washington's talent is, do you want to keep him from transferring since he's a true Frosh. So
yeah,
there's also that to consider these days. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of talent there with both of them. I think, I think they're both likely going to see action. I just don't know how much. So
yeah, it's going to be, I think it's a real battle though.
Oh yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
So that's going to be something to track for sure in the first month of the season, see how that goes.
Yeah. And now, again, just to keep on with that offensive line we've been talking about, because it's very, very important. We're going to see. I mean, they have a left tackle. They have Ritrell Perry. He's a redshirt junior, proven portal addition. So he's a solid addition. I think that was a smart move. Left guard, Isaiah Wright. He's a redshirt senior, so there's some experience there. Center, Michael Hershey. He's a sophomore. Right guard, Alio Ba.
Yep, Alio Ba.
Yeah. Right. He's a redshirt junior, and right tackle Alan Heron. He's a senior. So, I think there's a decent amount of experience on the offensive line, which is good. But last year they weren't that good. So
no.
So
no, they were bad.
You got one guy.
You got two starters back.
and we've never seen it fully gel. So
You know
how
what I
much confidence do you have in him, his ability to put it together now?
you,
You know,
you know
it's
what
how
I
many
was
years?
struck by with like losing, Prather and Felton and then having Hemby and Edwards leaving the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland only returns 3 offensive starters in Aluba, Allen Heron on that line of scrimmage, and then
Mm-hmm.
wide receiver Octavian Smith.
Yeah.
3.
Nolan Ray is also coming back.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
But was
but
he a
still,
starter?
no, he wasn't. You're right. He wasn't a starter. He was a backup. You're right.
Yeah. But regardless, yeah, so he has some experience though, you're right,
Yeah.
at
He,
running
he
back.
he was they used him a lot last year because
Yep.
it was kind of like the 1-2 punch. Ray had a little bit more of this, little bit more speed, not a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah. So we're gonna see. I don't have any confidence because Loxley's never given us any reason to have any confidence in his ability to put together a decent offensive line.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see. Running backs. Moving on to that, like we just talked about, Nolan Ray. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's coming back as the lead back, and he had a pretty strong 2024. So I think there's a potential there to be pretty decent. But again, if the offensive line can block for him,
Right.
and tight end, you've got Dorian Fleming. He's also a portal addition. He's an athletic pass catcher. So you're adding a pretty decent piece there.
Yeah, he had a really good year at Georgia State last year.
Yeah, he did. I think it's a good addition. You need these targets after, no matter who it is, after losing Prather and Felton. I mean,
Right.
it's you need to go wherever you can. So
Tight end is a young QB's best friend, right?
yep, absolutely. So I think it's a good addition. And then wide receivers, you got Jalil Farouk, who's a redshirt senior. You've got Caleb Webb, who's a redshirt junior. He's from Tennessee.
Right.
And then at slot, they're going to have Octavian Smith Jr. and he's a senior as well. So at least there's some experience there, which is good. So
yeah, I mean, Farouk was really good in 22 and 23 for Oklahoma, and 23 had nearly a 700-yard season. So it's possible he can regain that form, and they might need him to, because Caleb Webb didn't do much at Tennessee, and Octavian Smith needs to take a step forward. He had 315 yards last year. So I mean, I hope Jalil Farouk is like a number 1 wide receiver option, because if he's not, I don't know how that's going to go.
And just looking at these receivers, man, again, not to say they're terrible, but they're no Felton and Prather, dude.
No, man. No, it's I'm kind of surprised because Loxley generally develops so much there that he's struggling that much at receiver but we'll talk. I mean, there's just been so much trouble with retention, but not really at receiver. So I don't know what the deal is with that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them does turn out to be pretty good, because again,
it's Mike Loxley. I'm sure somebody's good.
Yeah, I trust him to develop good wide receivers. So I expect to see somebody turn out to be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if they have 2 like they did last year. So we'll see. It's tough, man. It's going to be hard. Offense, like I said, it's just not a lot of confidence going into this year. But who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us. Loxley is always good for at least a couple games of surprising you, like you did last year. So nobody gave him a chance to beat USC, and look what happened. So
yeah, it's true. All right. Should we turn and talk defense?
Yes.
All right. So new defensive coordinator Ted Monachino has a lot of experience, but it was mostly in the NFL. And despite his long history, he hasn't spent that many years calling plays. So that worries me a bit here, as Maryland's D was abysmal last season. And another disastrous season on D could be fatal for the Loxley regime. The Terrapins were last in the Big Ten last year, forcing just 14 sacks. 14 sacks in 12 games. That's not great. And all of last year's starters up front are gone. Maryland gave up over 30 points per game last year, so maybe it's not terrible that everybody's gone, but that's got to change if Maryland's going to capitalize on its favorable schedule. So there's no way to sugarcoat it. The Terrapins lost veteran linebackers Kellen Wyatt and Caleb Wheatland to the transfer portal. And that's been the story of the last few years for Maryland. Man, Loxley recruits pretty well out of high school, but Maryland flat out does not have the NIL to retain their best players. As a result, it feels like they're starting over every year. So they lost Wyatt and Wheatland, but Daniel Wingate returns after ranking third on the team in tackles last year with 50. So he's pretty good. The other projected starters, Michael Harris, Keyshawn Flowers, and K.R.E. James are in the mix for snaps as well. And then on the defensive line, man, lost all of last year's starters up front. So this year they'll be counting on DNs Neo Avery, DJ Samuels, Trey Reddick, and Daniel Owens. At defensive tackle, it'll be Ryan Thomas or D.D. Holmes on the nose, with Dylan Fontes or Bryce Jenkins at the other tackle spot. And what worries me is how young Maryland is up front. They have just 3 juniors and they're 2 deep, while the rest are underclassmen. That can be a recipe to get pushed around in the Big Ten, especially early in the year. Neo Avery needs to step up and play well at defensive end. That is absolutely essential if Maryland's going to be improved. He's just got to be a force, and be against both the run and the pass. He's got to show up. So that's where the defensive line is. And then a defensive back, they only bring one starter back in Jalen Husky, but he's really good. He's going to play strong safety this year. The other starters include free safety Levane Scruggs, nickelback Lakai Rowland, and cornerbacks Dante Joyner and Jamare Glasker. Joyner is a transfer from Arkansas State who has impressed in his time in College Park. So he's someone to look out for. He could be a really good player. And so he's going to be a big factor. They're going to feature him in different ways. And the secondaries, it's a bit of a mystery and may take a while to gel as well. I will say with Joyner and Husky, they have a good backbone in the secondary. It's just a matter of how well those other starters play and what the depth looks like. Specialists, place kicker Jack Howes entered the transfer portal, leaving Gavin Marshall as the next man up. Bryce McPherson was 5th in the Big Ten with his 45.1 yard punting average. It's not clear how good they'll be at returner, with Josiah McLaurin set to return kicks and Ricardo Cooper punts. So I'm worried about the place kicking position. But John, I just am struck by yet another team that's better at punter than we are. It's every team in the Big Ten is better at punter than we are.
I just don't. I don't know where, why all the focus is never on our specialists. I guess it's bizarre. Every once in a while, I guess PJ gets a good kicker.
Yeah,
but our punters are always subpar.
It hasn't been great. And under Jerry Kill, we always had great kickers and punters.
Oh yeah, Pete Mortel,
but we couldn't score. It was if we could just all at the same time. But yeah, so that's how that looks. Fun fact, John, Maryland has just 4 returning starters on both sides of the ball.
That's wild.
That's insane and shows how badly they've been rated in the transfer portal each year. It's impacting them in an extremely negative way.
I know that Loxley's been able to put together a pretty decent secondary. It's kind of from year to year, it's a little inconsistent, but I feel like they've generally been pretty solid. But it's definitely went down last year, and this year I just don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to improve much. So
should we? I know, man. I'm worried too. I think we should play the schedule game and then share our remaining feelings about the Maryland Terrapins.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So the good news is that Maryland didn't go all Northwestern, try to go on the road and play a group of 5 playoff contender. They didn't go all, UCLA and say, hey, let's have a pissing contest with Utah to start the year. They scheduled Florida Atlantic and Northern Illinois and Towson, and they're all at home.
Yep.
That's how you get to 3-0. That's how you get to 3-0, right?
Yep.
That's what you do. You say, hey, we're not in a great place in the program. We can't afford to be playing a bunch of tough out of conference games, so we're just not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
And FAU, Northern Illinois can be scrappy, but but Maryland should win those games.
Should, yes.
Yeah. So I'd say Maryland gets to 3-0, and that's exciting. And then, John, here's a game that we both, I think, had circled for a few months now.
Yep.
And that is the Maryland Terrapins going on the road to Camp Randall to play the Wisconsin Badgers. That, man, that could be a really important game. I would say that is a must win for both teams.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I think if it's, I mean, obviously it's a revenge game in a way for both of them. As we know, Loxley was not really happy. He didn't outright like call him out necessarily, like by name, but he was, Billy Edwards is who he was talking about. So
he was pretty clear.
Yeah. So
it's pretty clear what he meant.
And Billy Edwards has a lot to prove.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see. It's gonna be pretty.
And Loxley knows what makes him tick, man.
Yes, he does.
He knows, he might know exactly where to, to get him to make him screw up or throw a bad pick or, make some kind of mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem for me. I just think Wisconsin's a lot better on the line of scrimmage than Maryland is.
Yeah.
I think they did better in the transfer portal up front when they had to. And I think they have better running backs. And I think it's going to be a game where Wisconsin tries to limit the amount of mistakes that Billy Edwards can make. You know,
I think they run the ball.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that it's going to be a run heavy game. They're going to want to control the clock and really, like a limit. Billy Edwards Jr. is going to be there as a game manager. That's it. I don't think he's there to make any big plays downfield. He's there to just run out the clock, be smart, protect the ball, and get out of the game with a win. And I agree. I think it's going to be on the offensive and defensive lines. Wisconsin definitely has the superior run game at this point from what I've seen. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so I think the Billy Edwards revenge game goes to Wisconsin.
Same.
So that puts Maryland at 3-1. And then they've got a bye week, it's a good time for a bye to get ready for a tough game at home against Washington. And man, that could be a really interesting game. With 2 weeks to get ready, Maryland could be ready to come out, and Mike Loxley could work his little magic and conjure up a couple early touchdowns, and have them figured out a little bit. And we know Washington's good to score a bunch of points, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So, this could be kind of a fun game, at least to start with.
Possibly. I think, maybe the first half, is interesting because Loxley's got a great scheme, but I don't have faith that Maryland's defense is going to be able to stop Damon Williams and Boston. I don't think that's possible for their defense.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Jonah Coleman. I think we're going to have a heavy dose of Jonah Coleman in this game.
I agree. Yeah.
Until somebody makes you're going to run the ball on Maryland until they prove they can stop it.
Yep.
I mean, that's just what you're going to do if you're playing them. So I would take Washington in this one. What do you think?
Yeah, same. I just don't think they can stop that offense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next week, it's almost too bad they couldn't have flipped the Wisconsin or the Washington and Nebraska games because Nebraska's not a great running team either.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be matchup wise, that could be a little more like a game that Maryland could be in, that it could be a battle of which quarterback can be more efficient kind of thing, who can get more explosive plays, in the passing game kind of game. So yeah, but it's maybe I'm trying to talk myself into Maryland having a chance here.
Let me see what their Nebraska's football schedule is next year. I want to see who they play before Maryland.
Who they have before Maryland?
Yeah, they have Michigan State. Okay.
That's not what you wanted to hear.
No.
You wanted to hear they had Iowa.
Well, I thought I was like, I know it's either Michigan or Michigan State. And I was like, if they had Michigan, that's another
Yeah.
story. But yeah, Michigan
Yeah.
State at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. So that'd be 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is you play UCLA. The bad news is it's on the road. But as we know about UCLA, they don't really have a home field advantage.
Yeah.
So this is, maybe not neutral sitey, but it's got at least, the potential to be not so overwhelming with the other team cheering or whatnot. I got to think that it's going to be a desperate Maryland team and maybe a desperate UCLA team.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, man, did the Nico Iamaleava experiment in Westwood work or not?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it didn't, I think Maryland wins this game. But if it did,
mm-hmm. First of all, does I mean, I don't know, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, but do Maryland fans travel well? I have no idea.
I feel like they probably don't because they don't have a great home field advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not, I just don't know if they're going to be filling up.
And that's stadium. Coast to coast, so that's a long trip for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be like us, Midwesterners who are like, we're going to LA.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like that for Maryland, especially if they're 3-3.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right about the Nico Iamaleava thing. If he does happen to win over the locker room, like, yeah, I gotta believe that UCLA and like Deshaun Foster as a coach are going to be able to win this game. But if there's trouble in that locker room, it could all fall apart. And then I have to pick. Honestly, for me, this is really coin flippy. I don't know.
Super coin flippy. Don't have a strong feeling either. No. I want to be like Daniel House and be like, I want to go week to week. And it's like, yeah, we all do. But like, we're far from the season. So all we can do is speculate.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know what to pick.
Friend of the pod, Daniel House, by the way. We love him.
Yes. Amazing. Yeah. So I guess like if I had to pick, I will pick UCLA because let's say I think Nico Iamaleava is the superior quarterback.
Yeah.
And I do think they have more talent across the board, and maybe not by like a ton, but I do think that UCLA is more talented. And I believe in Deshaun Foster and where he's bringing that program. And I think that his players believe in him. And I don't know if the players in Maryland have a lot of faith in Mike Locksley right now.
For the sake of this being a Maryland preview, I'm going to call it a coin flip.
Yes, I would do that because there's too many questions. Yeah, right now.
And then they have 2 weeks to get ready to host the Hoosiers. And man, the Hoosiers could be in 2 different spots. If they beat Illinois and Iowa, we could be talking about an Indiana team with 1 loss to a playoff contender and highly ranked, all that kind of stuff. This could be a big ballyhooed game.
Mm-hmm.
If Indiana loses those games, though, it could be a season that went off the rails a little in a way that wasn't fun. They could be trying to regain something. They could be, not quite where they want to be. I think it's good they have 2 weeks to get ready. I kind of wish they had 2 weeks to get ready for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time thinking that Signetti is going to drop this game. I just think the offensive skill position talent is so far in Indiana's favor. Mm-hmm. And can Maryland block Mikhail Kamara? I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I got to pick Indiana in this one.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then they play Rutgers, but unfortunately they have to go to Piscataway. And it's November, and it'll be kind of cold, and it's in Piscataway. And it's Greg Schiano, and he'll have figured out how to squeeze every last bit out of that run game by then.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense will probably be pretty good. I think it's possible you win this game, right? Like, if things hit, if you hit a couple explosives early, if you force a turnover or 2 in the first half, maybe you win, but I wouldn't bet on it.
If somehow someone on defense like turns out to be elite, and they have somebody who can actually like rush the passer and
Yeah.
get Ethan out of his rhythm,
Yes.
maybe. Do I see that at this point in time? No.
No.
That's the trick, and I just don't. Again, talking about the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, I don't have a lot of faith in that. I mean, you could look at this as being a little bit more coin flippy because I don't have a ton. I think Rutgers is going to be better than Maryland, but like we know that things can happen, and I think again, I want to remember too that Loxley always is good for like one upset
He
or
is.
two.
He is.
So this is one I could possibly see going Maryland's way, but right now I can't pick it.
They'd have to get a lead, I feel like, early.
Yeah.
Get a lead and make Shianu, put him in a position he doesn't want to be in where he's behind the chains and has to throw the ball.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Then they have to go on the road to play the Illini. And man, we've talked about how much we love Illinois and Luke Altmaier and that senior-led offensive line and tight end group and the running backs and that defense with 8 defensive backs returning. And oh man, I mean, Illinois is really good. And I think by November, they're going to be clicking.
I agree. I think it's going to, I don't think Maryland has a chance in this. I think Bielema is going to run all over them, and it's going to be a brutal loss.
Yeah, it's going to hurt. He's going to hurt feelings, I think.
Yeah.
It might be a thing where Mike Loxley doesn't want to shake hands after.
It could be. I mean, and Bielema's good for that,
Yeah.
He kind of likes it when things like that happen.
He enjoys that. He likes getting under people's skin.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll do that, want to embarrass Mike Loxley. I think,
No, especially if the season is going the way we think it's going, he might be nice.
Yeah, he might call off the dogs and just be like, all right, but we'll see. It's hard to say.
But on the flip side, if he's trying to position himself for a playoff spot, he might have to run the score up.
Exactly.
So
it's tough, but either way, Illinois takes this game. I just can't see it any other way right now.
I'm with you. Then the good news is you go home. The bad news is you have to host the Wolverines. And man, the time to get Michigan this year is early in the year before Bryce Underwood figures out how to play college football.
Yeah.
And getting them second to last in November, it's going to be cold and it's going to be physical, and I just think Maryland's going to quit by halftime.
Yeah,
I flat out quit.
I do too. I don't think they're going to be able to withstand that defense at all.
It might be the game that gets Loxley fired.
Yeah, I think it could be. I agree, because I don't think it's going to be a game.
And then the Michigan State game, man, if it wasn't the last game and it wasn't on the road, I would give them a real chance here, because Sparty has holes.
Yeah,
they're not bulletproof, but I think at this point in the year, with the season they're probably about to have, I think Sparty will have a significant advantage here.
Well, my boy Aiden Childs looking like a Heisman candidate by that time.
Of course, of course he will. Man.
No, I look, I do think there is a possibility. I think there is a road to beating Sparty in this game, but everything's got to go perfect, man. It really would. It would have to go perfect, and I don't have faith that it's going to go that way. So I got to pick Sparty to win this game as well.
Yeah.
So what is it? 3-9 or 4-8? What are we talking about here?
3-8 with one coin flip.
Okay, 3-8 with one coin flip. Yeah. Okay.
So not great.
Not great.
Not great. I think it sucks for the guys who are playing for Maryland this year, but for Mike Loxley, he's going to reappear as a terrifying offensive coordinator next year somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to be some school with deep pockets that can pay him enough money to make it worth it to him to not sit on the beach and play golf. And to actually, show up and coach. But is it going to go well? And here's the thing. I would have loved to see a Maryland team that was able to retain its players. And it's just, you don't have a chance, man. If you can't retain your best players by and large, you might lose one or two guys in the portal here or there, but you can't be losing your best players on offense and defense every year.
No.
And that's where it's gotten to with Maryland. And they're going to have to decide, are we just a basketball school or can we put more money into football and try to compete a little more?
I mean, I feel like they have to try. Like at this point in time, I mean, the Big Ten kind of demands that, right? Don't you think? Like,
yeah,
they're going to have to figure it out. It may
probably
take a little while still, but like I feel like they're going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think having the revenue share will help teams like Maryland that don't have NIL because they'll still be able to pay money.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be a gap between them and everybody else. They'll be able to keep their best players maybe, but it's going to be hard for them to recruit new talent and keep their best players kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, look, like we've talked about before, they're in really great recruiting grounds. It's just taking advantage of it and making it work for them. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on. Should we talk about Northwestern?
Yeah, let's do that.
So, John, I'll hand it off to you to talk about, David Braun, first of all, we should say, year one, when a surprising 8-5, won the bowl game against Utah, was the Big Ten, I want to say, Coach of the Year.
Yep.
Last year, not so much. What did they end up? I think they ended up 4-8 also.
4-8. Yep. 2-7 in the Big Ten.
Yeah. So not great.
Yeah.
Northwestern offensively last year. And I'm only saying this to make the point that the defense is actually not too bad. They finished 130th in total offense. 130, not 113th, 30th. 128th in scoring offense and 111th in passing offense.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive coordinator Zach Lujan enters year 2 after a disastrous year 1. He's hoping to return to the form he showed at the FCS level at South Dakota State. John, tell me about this Northwestern offense and what are the reasons for optimism?
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, I was gonna kind of go over a little bit of last year,
Oh yeah, go over last year.
And which is why, there might be some reasons for optimism here.
Yeah, go over last year.
With the pass game, it was 391 attempts for 2,231 yards, 7 TDs and 11 interceptions. The efficiency low at 101.9 rating. And Jack Lausch, man, the guy's got wheels. He's got wheels. He can move.
Yes.
But he was 159 to 296 with 53.7%, and then only with 1,714 yards, seven touchdowns with 8 interceptions.
Yeah, he's not a Big Ten level starting quarterback.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't know. You would hope he would play better in a different position. I don't know. Maybe if he can catch the ball, but I don't know, man. Like a Marquise Gray type of deal, I don't know.
I think he's a baseball player too.
Okay.
I think he's one of those guys.
Okay. There you go. But, the situational stats, the yards per play, offense 4.58 versus the defense 5.6 allowed. Sorry to hit on the defense there. Third down conversion was 33%. And so
Oof.
The top criticism, was of course it was the lack of a steady QB. It was poor execution, limited, coordinator in Luan's system. It wasn't great at all. And again, their running game was not great either. Cam Porter's just never returned to form. So we're going to see. But now looking at the outlook for 2025, what changes here, there's a QB upgrade.
Yeah.
With Preston Stone, he brings FBS proven arm and experience. He is definitely going to be the starter. Right. Lausch returns as a backup, and then Bo, I think he's developing behind him. So there's a couple people there, but Stone has to be the guy. Just like last year, it was Mike Wright transferring in. I think now we have Preston Stone from SMU, who he looked good at times. I know he got benched, but he's definitely an upgrade from what they've had.
Oh, yeah. And he had a really good 2023.
He did.
He got benched in 2024, but he had a really good 2023, and he was pretty accurate and, threw for over 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns. I mean, it's nothing to sniff at. So he's a guy, he's definitely going to be the best, it's going to be closer to when they had Ben Bryant, at least, than to having Jack Lausch.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. If he can stay healthy, I think they've got they've got a shot at being better than what they were last year, and better than what I think some people are expecting, or for the
Yeah.
most part. And then with the backfield, you got Porter to lead again. You got Hyman and Komalafe bringing the burst and the situational efficiency. Hyman is very fast.
Yes. Yes, he
So
is.
if he finds open space, he's gone.
Doesn't Hyman have to be the starter?
I thought he was better than Porter because Porter is just not the same. No,
he just never regained the juice post injury.
Exactly.
I had a good buddy like that, man, who played college basketball, and he tore a couple ligaments, and he was not the same athlete.
Yeah.
And that happens. Not everybody gets the juice back.
Yep. No, I agree, and I think it's sad because I remember his first year or two. Like,
he was good.
He looked good. He looked pretty dangerous. So
yeah.
But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So, and for the offensive line, you got Caleb Tiernan, who anchors the left tackle. He's an elite pass blocker, and I think he's getting better. He's getting better, as a run blocker as well. They have additions like Bernstein plus returning starters. I think they're going to have better protection and run blocking. They've got Ben Rather at left guard. He's a senior. Josh Kreutz, who's at center. He's a senior, and they have right guard Brandon Henderson Jr. and, like I said, right tackle Caleb Tiernan. So they've got experience. They've got some solid, guys that have been, in the game for a while. So I think that's good. That bodes well for them. Should help the run game. Should help protect Preston Stone. It's just, we're going to have to see how that all comes together. Last year, it just didn't look that great. So
no. And they got Xavier Gray from Liberty, so they got a little more depth. A little more depth than maybe they had last year. So it sounds like the O-line and Jack Bailey's back at center. It sounds like they could be a little better unit than they've been.
Yes, I agree. I think so too. And we're going to, I think they're going to be a better backfield. I think they're going to have a better offensive line. I don't know how much better, but I think they should be consistent in being decent, pretty average, but maybe a little bit above average.
I think you buried the lead though, because we've got a South Dakota State transfer whose last name is Bernstein.
Bernstein. Did I not say Bernstein?
No, you did. Okay. But he's from South Dakota and his name is Beer. And I'm just pointing that out and saying that there's a certain reputation the Dakotas have. So that's kind of funny.
That is true. No, that's very true. So we're going to see how that goes. Receivers, right now, man, they lack a veteran star. Like, they really do. They don't have AJ Henning is gone.
Yeah, he was good.
I can't remember who the other Kurtz.
Yep, Kurtz.
Kurtz is gone. He remember him.
He was like a slot guy. Yeah, he had the game of a lifetime against us that one time, and quarter of a lifetime. Not that I'm still bitter, because
not at all.
Not at all that I'm still angry about that game 2 years later. What about South Dakota State transfer Griffin Wild? I feel like he's got to be the star, doesn't he?
I think Wild,
and he's comfortable with the offensive coordinator, and so maybe he knows how to unlock him and feature him a little bit.
I think so, and I think Farrell is also going to be a pretty key piece to this as well. I think that you're gonna,
and he's the Stanford transfer.
Yeah. So I think there's some experience there. There's some people that could work into this system pretty well. It's, and with Preston Stone, I think he'll be able to get them the ball and make them, pretty decent. So, and the tight end position, honestly, I think it remains pretty unclear. Like, I feel like it's going to take a few games to really find out who emerges at the tight end. It's Alex Lines. He's a grad transfer.
Right.
So I don't really know what to expect from that position at this point in time.
Yeah.
I feel like,
and the senior Lawson Albright, which is a good all-name team candidate.
It's a great name.
Lawson Albright. That sounds like an award. Like you'd get like an academic award.
Yeah.
An Albright.
See, I mean, look, it's Luan's offense requires, QB decision making and time in pocket. If the line holds, it could unlock some deep shots. It's a must-see improvement in third down efficiency and points scored. Like, that's really just what we got to see here. We got to see them be able to score, and we got to see them be able to move the ball consistently down the field. And if they can't, establish a run game and hit some receivers, if he's not getting protected, Preston Stone, then then it's going to be a lot of repeat, I think, of what last year was. Defense is another story.
They need Hyman to take a big step.
I think he could.
Yeah.
He had some really good flashes last year. He really did.
He's got some juice, man.
Yeah.
He's got some get up and go. So if he could be a 20 plus touch a game guy, that could make them a much more dangerous team. I can't hear you. Nope. John, I have lost you. I can't hear you right now.
Can you? Oh, weird.
Now I can hear you. You're back.
Yeah, it's on a different microphone though. I don't know why it's on the weird. Okay. Well, I'll try to speak up.
No, you're good. I can hear you now. I just couldn't hear you for a minute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Now my microphone's connected again. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Weird. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see, man. Offense is still, I think, a lot of question marks, but it looks like on paper like it's going to be better, just by how much we don't know.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk defense a little bit. So, longtime Northwestern assistant Tim McGarrigle returns for year 2 as defensive coordinator. The defense is head coach David Braun's baby, but McGarrigle did a great job in year 1. The D-line, John, this is the strength of this Northwestern defense, and I would say this Northwestern team. Mm-hmm. Defensive end Anto Saka is a legit NFL prospect. The team sack leader is back in Aiden Hubbard at the other defensive end. Defensive tackle and team captain Carmine Bastone is back with fellow senior Najee Story and Utah State transfer Miguel Jackson. So you've got production, you've got experience, and you've got upperclassmen. Like, that's what you want on the defensive line. So I think Northwestern is going to have some depth and some talent on this D line, and I think that it's going to keep them in a lot of games. John, what can we say about now departed all-world Northwestern linebacker Xander Mueller? How many times, dude, I'm getting chills, legit chills right now just talking about him. How many times did we talk about, dude, I remember watching a long day of football watching where I was going back and forth between Northwestern and another game, and they had like a 4th and goal, and Xander Mueller came up with the stop, and to stop them, there's no points, and then it was 3rd and goal on the goal line again, and then once again I think Mueller made like 2 plays on 2 down, and it's just when they needed a play, it was like he found the ball and brought it down. So he was special, man, and they're gonna miss him. Like there's no arguing that, there's no way they're not gonna miss him.
And I feel like whether it was Braun or Fitzgerald, like there was always 1 or 2 guys on the defense that were elite. Like,
yes, always.
Like everyone else may have been mediocre, but there was one guy that was always just.
And insane. Mueller was that guy. He was just a dude. He was just a dude, and they're gonna miss him. That's just the way it is. But that said, they do bring back Mac Uline. He returns, and then Purdue transfer and Yanni Karloftis with the famous name is versatile. He can play both the strong and the weak side. So the coaches really like also sophomore Braden Bruss. So they're going to miss, Xander Mueller, but I think they'll still be pretty good at linebacker. It just might, it might take a month or so for them to get caught up to speed kind of thing. At DB, they lost Theron Johnson to Oregon, which sucks. But they like what they have at the number 1 cornerback with Josh Fussell and at nickelback with Braden Turner. Jacksonville State transfer Fred Davis is good as well in the secondary. And at another safety, they've got Ore Adeye. Yeah. Adeye. I'm going to work on that and come back to it. He returns from an ACL tear. Well, redshirt frosh safety Damon Walters has a high ceiling, according to coaches. And the nickelback Robert Fitzgerald is an instinctive player, according to coaches, which either means he's a really good player or it's code for he's kind of slow. We'll find out. Either he's going to make a bunch of clutch plays or we're going to be like, oh, I see. I see what they meant. Yeah. That's like, remember how they always talked about how Calvin Swentz hadn't had such good instincts? And then we saw him play and was like, oh, he's not Big Ten speed. He doesn't have it. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on. So DB is going to be interesting, man. I think at safety, it's going to take longer to figure it out than corner. But I think this is a good defense, especially at defensive line and cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to have to carry what looks to be another shaky offensive unit.
Yeah.
But I do think, man, this Cats defense, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tenacious. They're going to be instinctive, and they're going to keep them in games.
I think so too. Absolutely. I think people are underrating Northwestern a little bit.
They always do.
Yeah. And this is going to be one of those years where I think they do come up and bite a couple people. And
I do too. I just hope it's not us.
Same.
Yeah.
Because it's
happened.
happened.
Play them on a baseball field too, which I don't love.
And honestly, that's like a game. I'm not saying I would predict us to win, but that would be one that I'd be like, yeah, of course. And it would be feeling a lot similar to a couple years ago. So
yeah. All right. So specialist Jack Olson's back at place kicker after being hurt most of last fall. The punter Luke Akers was 10 of 14 place kicking last year, but now he can focus solely on punting. And looks like Joseph Hyman, the star running back, will also handle kick returns, while punt returns could go to Drew Wagner or others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I think they're in a pretty good place in special teams. This is going to be a defense and special teams kind of team, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to be a team that like you're going to get to a certain point in the year and be like, oh man, we have to play them.
Yeah.
Like, that's annoying. Also, Northwestern on your website, fix your graphics, because I could not find a single decent graphic of you doing your schedule. So this is ESPN's gross version of your schedule, because I couldn't find a graphic that would work.
Mm-hmm.
So do better, Northwestern. Everyone else has a graphic that works. Do better. All right? We're trying. I'm trying to help. Help me help you.
You're Northwestern.
Help me.
Come on.
You're the media department. You're all about media. That's your whole thing, journalism. Help me help you. All right. So, John, the Northwestern Wildcats, we've talked about this before, but that opener at Tulane, are you kidding me? Tulane is fantastic. They are the best team in their conference. They are a legit college football playoff contender.
Yep.
And you're not just playing them, you're playing them on the road at their place. Why? Why? I don't care how much money was involved. This was a terrible decision. You should have never scheduled this game. And David Braun deserves a pass just for this game. If they go 5-7, you better not fire David Braun because you decided to play Tulane and he lost to Tulane.
Yep.
Is how I feel about it. So I hate this game for Northwestern. I hate this game for Northwestern.
I hate it too, but I guess you'll know.
New look secondary, I don't know. The defensive line, I think will be ready to rock, right? But
True.
I don't know if at safety, I fear that, Tulane's going to look at those inexperienced safeties or those new safeties and be like, let's double move and throw it down the field and F it. This is our house, and just try to force the issue. And if they do that, I don't know, man. I don't know how that goes.
I mean, I'm with you. I think, look, man, it's a good test. You're going to know where Northwestern stands right away. You're going to know how good Preston Stone is. You're going to know how good their running game is going to be, their offensive line. Defense, I think, I agree. I think their D-line is going to hold up. And that secondary is going to get tested in a big way. But,
in a big way.
I'm choosing a loss.
Yeah.
But this could be good for them down the line.
It's good for them if they win.
Down the line.
Yeah, I'm great for them if they win. It's fantastic. Makes them look, it's a feather in their cap. But I think it's crazy that they're playing this game. I think it's absolute bat, not cool.
Sure.
Not cool they did this to David Braun. I can't believe Pat Fitzgerald signed off on this, and he must have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly.
He's got time these days. We should ask him. We should have him on the pod.
Seriously,
He's got nothing. He's got nothing to do. Pat, we won't ask any tough questions. We promise.
Yeah, come on, Pat.
We'll just let you talk ball. Maybe one hazing question. One. Just one. So we can say we covered it. All right. So I think it's going to be a good game, but I think you lose at Tulane because it's on the road.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think you start out 0-1, and that sucks. Then they play Western Illinois. Okay. I think that's a good game for them.
Yeah.
Western Illinois is not very good. In fact, they're a pretty bad FCS team. And I think that's a good game for them. It's a Friday night game, so they have a short week, but like it shouldn't take that much to beat Western Illinois.
Yeah, I agree.
So this could be a good chance to get the running game going.
Yep. I agree. I think that's a win.
All right. So we got 1-1, and then you got to host Oregon. Ugh.
Yeah.
Northwestern is in one place as a program, and Oregon is in a very different place as a program.
Very, very much so. Yeah.
Oregon is pulling in top 3 recruiting classes and transfer portal classes, and Phil Knight's just got out the Nike money gun, and he's just firing it everywhere. And like Northwestern's claw, and David Braun's trying to keep his job. So I don't think this goes great. At least it's at 11 a.m.
Well, here's the best part about this.
Okay.
This is going to be, if Oregon behaves the way they should, this could be potentially an amazing color game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got that purple, that deep purple, and then you got that green and yellow. Like, so, you know, like that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it's going to be on Fox. Big noon. So that's fun. Yeah. It's fun for them.
Next to the lake.
Yeah. It'll be great. Yeah. Right up until they kick it off.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying to find the silver lining here, Mike. Come on.
I mean, Northwestern or Oregon, just lost their best wide receiver for the year. So maybe they're still trying to figure out the skill positions when they play Northwest. I mean, let's be real. This is not going to be a game.
No. I mean, I know Oregon started slow last year. I have a feeling that's not going to be the case this year. No. Dan Lanning took note, and I think he's going to fix that in a big way.
Yeah. So we got 1-2. So not great. But then you play at home UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's an interesting game. I think that this is when you want to play UCLA. Mm-hmm. Nico Iamaleava will be in his first month still of this new offense. I mean, he's going to be drinking from a fire hose in an offense that's more complicated than the one he came from, with worse skill players, with a pretty good defense. I mean, I think this is a really good game. Like, this is appointment viewing. I'm going to get my popcorn and I want to watch this game because it's really, I think it's going to come down to who's tougher on the offensive line.
Yep.
Because I think both of these teams can play defense on the defensive line.
Mm-hmm. And
I think both these teams have, quarterbacks who can do some things, and they're going to be holes, so it's going to be, it could be a low scoring, old school kind of slugfest.
Yeah. I think looking at this now, obviously we haven't done, we need to look more into UCLA. I want to say that I have more faith right now as far as what Northwestern can do offensively. I just don't know how Nico's going to move into this. Yeah. And I have faith that Braun is going to have that locker room together. I feel like Preston Stone is going to walk right in and fit into that system. So
fit. That's a good way to put it. It's going to fit at Northwestern better.
Exactly. So at least what I'm projecting right now, could that all change and I'd be proven wrong? Absolutely. But for what I'm thinking right now, I don't know, man. And I think Northwestern's defense is going to be better than UCLA. I just do. And I'm going to give the edge to Northwestern here.
Yeah, I am too. And I forgot to mention that Northwestern has a bye week to get ready for this game.
There you go.
So that's huge. It's at home. It's a bye week. Yeah, I've got Northwestern. So that's 2-2. And then they go into a home tilt with UL Monroe.
Yep.
Who, to be, with all due respect, that's a game Northwestern should be able to gut out and win on the line of scrimmage, without showing too much schematically. So that gets them to 3-2, and everything's going along great, and you're feeling good, and then you got to go to Happy Valley to play the Nittany Lions.
2 college football playoff teams. Right
in
there.
Oregon and Penn State, yeah.
Yep. And another one coming up with Michigan, and Illinois. Like, their schedule's rough. Yeah. Go ahead. So sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's a tough schedule. Penn State, man. I mean, what else can we say? They've got Drew Aller, who he's either really good or great. We'll find out this fall. But in any, he completed almost 70% of his passes last year.
Yeah.
And they have the best running back tandem in college football. They have a great offensive line. They don't have Tyler Warren, but Luke Reynolds is supposed to be the truth as the next great Penn State tight end. And they finally have wide receivers, we think, in Devontae Ross and Trevor Pena. So guys who can actually get open, make plays consistently, that kind of thing, which they did not have last year. And then they're going to have, that defense is terrifying. And, Jim Knowles is going to be coordinating that defense. And, Andy Kotelnicki is still in charge of the offense. And, man, I think Penn State can name their score here.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be much of a competition.
No, it's going to be a lot of we are, in the crowd.
Yep.
It's going to be a lot of that. And I've been there when there's a lot of that, and it's not fun when you're the visiting team. It's not cool. Not a good time. Don't recommend.
No.
All right. So that gets them to what, 3-3?
Yes.
Halfway through the season. And then they host Purdue. And Purdue is rebuilding under Barry Odom. They lost their best players in the transfer portal, a lot like Maryland did. I think Purdue's in trouble, man. I think they're going to be more competitive because Barry Odom brought in a lot of transfers, and he's a good coach. But Northwestern in year 3, if you're David Braun, if you're good enough to be the coach at Northwestern, in year 3, you should beat Purdue in year 1.
Yes. Yep. I agree. I think this goes to Northwestern strictly because of that. I think, I just don't think it's going to take Odom a couple years to get that together for Purdue. And right now, Braun seems to be getting some pieces together, and I think they're going to be too consistent at this point in time, especially at this point in time in the season. I think they're going to have their stuff figured out. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's on the lake. Could be windy, could be a lot of things. It could be a game that's a lot of pain for Purdue.
We're mid-October now, so
yeah. All right, then they got to go on the road to Lincoln to play the Cornhuskers, and man, I wish this game was at home.
Yeah,
because I do think with Northwestern's defensive line and cornerbacks, they could actually keep this game under control.
Yeah.
For a long time. I think eventually that Nebraska passing game is going to break out.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. I think Preston Stone will have some success. Like, I think he'll have his moments and he could score some, and get, it could be a close game, but if I have to take Preston Stone or Dylan Raiola in a shootout, I'm taking Dylan Raiola.
As of right now, yeah, I agree. I also just think that Nebraska is more talented across the board.
Yeah.
So I know that there's a lot of problems in our opinion that we've talked about with Nebraska, like as far as where they have some holes, but I don't think Northwestern is going to be good enough to be able to beat them at home for sure.
No. And then they have 2 weeks to get ready to go to USC. Man, that's on a Friday night game. I really want to talk myself into Northwestern being gritty and playing defense and keeping this close, and maybe they do. But I just look at skill players, man, and I just think there's going to be such a disparity. And unless Northwestern has to clearly be the tougher team. And if it were like an 11 a.m. game, maybe. But this is a night game. This is 8 o'clock. Friday night, the whole college football world's going to be watching you. USC likes it when USC is a program that likes the hype. They don't like when it gets sleepy, they lose games. But when the hype is there, they're more likely to show up. So I really want to pick Northwestern here, but I think I have to pick USC.
I have to pick USC, but how many picks does Jade Mayava throw? I don't know. If he has a game,
if it's 2 or more,
we don't know. Who knows?
And Northwestern's got a good defense.
Yeah.
And they could get pass rush. I mean, it could be a game. It could be a game. Absolutely. Yeah. And who knows where USC is at, like, psychologically by this point in the season too.
There's that. And like, until I see it, I don't have faith that USC can protect the quarterback well enough. Yeah. I know Mayava is pretty mobile and he's a big guy. And so he's hard to take.
Yeah, but you got to block for him.
Yeah. So we didn't see that last year. Even though we were told that it was going to be a certain kind of way, we were proven to be right. That it wasn't. I expect them to be better, but I don't know if Northwestern can get after Mayava, I think, and make him make mistakes. I think it could go in Northwestern's favor, but as of right now, I would pick USC.
Okay. So we've got let's see, what are we at then? 4 and 5. And then, man, you got to host the Wolverines, and not just that, but you got to host them in Chicago. And man, I got to believe that Michigan fans are going to significantly outnumber Northwestern fans at that game.
It's going to be a home game, 100%.
Yeah. And by then, Bryce Underwood's going to have his legs under him, and the new Michigan D-line will have it figured out. And when you recruit at the level Michigan does, it's hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard to play against that. And coming off that game against USC, I don't know, man. That's a really tough game.
I agree. It's
not really a home game. It's supposed to be, but it's not.
No, it's not at all. There are so many Michigan alums in Chicago. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And Michigan is fierce.
Yeah.
And the running backs and they might even have wide receivers this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sure yet, but maybe.
But against Northwestern, I don't think they need them.
It's not going to matter, right? Because they're going to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to run the ball. Bryce Underwood will probably run it a lot. Yeah. I'm
and Michigan, Michigan's defensive line is going to be dominant. So.
Yep. So we're at 4 and 6.
Yeah.
And then you got to play Minnesota. And once again, it's not a home game. You have to play them in Chicago. And again, man, this is not the road game I'm going to, but I have got to believe that Minnesota's going to have more fans at that game, probably, or as many as more than Northwestern. Yeah. A lot of alums from Minnesota end up in Chicago.
Absolutely. And again, man, just like you were talking about Tulane, like, who is agreeing to play these neutral site fields?
Oh my goodness. And honestly, we're going to sell more tickets. Yeah, to the other team's fans.
Exactly. Which is like, maybe that's actually the plan. But
no, that actually is of course, that's the reason why they're doing it.
But like, again, and I know you and I are on the same page with this, like, baseball or games played on baseball fields should never be allowed. That needs to be ended and stopped. It is dangerous, and it's not as cool as you think it is. Like, the seating sucks.
Yeah.
And like, I just don't think it's like as unique and special as people try to make it out to be. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's in Wrigley Field. Well, guess what? Go watch a baseball game in Wrigley Field. Why are you watching football there? Like, that's terrible.
Unnecessary. It's awful, and it shouldn't be, and all that kind of stuff. And I think it hurts Northwestern a lot to have these two games not at home.
Well, and now you're talking about a team who is far superior at running the ball than you, which is what you're going to do on a baseball field.
Yes.
You really want to do that? Like, you're going against Darius Taylor and AJ Turner, and I just, dude.
And the advantage, the one place where Northwestern's really good, the defensive line. Minnesota's defensive line is probably better.
Yeah.
And the Minnesota offensive line, I think, is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So, especially by that point in the year.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I want to give it to him, but, well, actually, I don't. I'm a Gopher fan.
No, you don't.
But who am I kidding? But it's a Northwestern, preview. So I'm trying to put myself in that headspace. I think that's a tough game against Minnesota. I'm not saying you can't win it. Like, you win the turnover battle, maybe Darius fumbles a couple times, or it's one of those games where he's banged up, but PJ won't play the other guy because he has he's afraid to or something. Like maybe it's a Drake Lindsay oopsie game.
Yep.
And he's a redshirt freshman, so we'll probably have at least one or two of those, you know. But I don't know, man. I think Minnesota runs all over Northwestern.
Yeah,
all over them.
I think so too. I think there is potential for it being one of those games because we've seen it before.
Yeah,
but I also don't think Lindsay's Ethan Kaliak-Manis.
No, he's not.
So, yeah.
And then, man, they got to play the rivalry game against Illinois on the road at their place in Champaign. And like again, if this game was in Evanston, it's one thing, but you got to go to Champaign, and Illinois might be playing for a college football playoff berth.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I just think Illinois is going to have more to play for at this point in the year.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to get ugly.
I agree. You know, and as a 4-8, which I think is what we came out to.
Yeah.
I still don't think you should be firing Braun. I think you need to give him at least one more year, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think should means nothing here.
Okay.
Because I don't think they should fire Braun because he was coach of the year 2 years ago, and he, I think, has done pretty well. But his offensive coordinator hire hasn't worked out at all so far. And you have a bright, new, shiny stadium you need to sell next year.
Yeah.
And a bright, new, shiny stadium, you might need a bright, new, shiny coach to get people to buy in, right? And there's a certain coach who his name made me very upset. Do you remember the name? Apropos of nothing, with no context. Do you remember Mike Kafka?
Yeah.
When he was the backup and we thought we were going to roll over Northwestern, he came in and ran for like 150 yards.
Yep.
Rushing on us. I remember, or maybe it might have been 200. It was obscene. It was awful.
I think we were at that game.
We might have been.
No,
that's not the one we were at.
Oh no, that was Dan Persa. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Anyway. No, Persa was earlier. That's not the game either.
Okay.
That was a Marquise Gray game you're thinking of.
Okay.
The point is, Mike Kafka, former Northwestern quarterback and a proud alum, is currently the offensive coordinator for the New York Football Giants of the National Football League. So, is there maybe some thought that Mike Kafka wants to be in college as a head coach more than he wants to be in the NFL as an offensive coordinator? And if he is, that's the kind of hire. I'm not saying it works out. I'm not saying it doesn't work out. That's the kind of hire people get excited about.
Yep.
I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. People get excited about NFL guys who are alumni. So yeah, I mean,
wouldn't be a stupid move.
No, and and there are and they'll have other options too of guys, who come up who have good seasons. I mean, we could go through the whole list of group of 5 coaches who deserve a shot or other, whatever. So I think it's not fair, but I think Northwestern, he needs to go 5-7 to keep him.
Sure.
Just for and then you kind of blame it on that schedule, but I don't know, man. If he does go 4-8, I think they're going to move on.
Yeah.
I think they're going to say, and it's going to come down to, he made a bad offensive coordinator hire. He hired a guy who was probably too young and wasn't ready.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see it. I'm hoping not, but I can definitely see that. That's a very possible scenario. So
we're not trying to be downers, Northwestern and Maryland. We're not trying to hate at all. I just don't think this is your year. No. Now, Northwestern, you have a coin flip. It's every other year. So it could be your year.
Could be.
It's on the coin flip side that it should be their year. So could be. And Maryland, man, if Malik Washington is the truth, if Malik Washington is it at quarterback and he's ready to play from day one and he's that guy, then all of a sudden Mike Locksley can play with all his toys.
Yep.
And things get really fun. So it's not all doom and gloom because every year there are teams that are better than we think they're going to be and worse than we think they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a team, I've been there, man, John, we both have, going into a year thinking the Gophers are just going to suck. And then they end up being like, okay. And you're like, cool.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, we're going somewhere, you know? So don't abandon hope. And I hope you enjoyed those previews. And John, do we have other thoughts or anything else you want to discuss before we get out of here?
Nothing else to discuss. No other thoughts. Again, you want to find us, We Live for Saturday. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat, Mike at Alibaba26, and John at Norwegian Gopher. And email us, We Live for Saturday, B1G@gmail.com. And just please, we had a lot of wonderful new subscribers this last week. Please,
yes, thank you.
Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. We really appreciate it. Retweet our stuff on Twitter. We would really appreciate that. We're trying to continue to build our following. Every little bit helps. Liking, all that kind of stuff helps the algorithm as well. But mainly, if YouTube is where it's at. We would really appreciate you subscribing to the YouTube channel, even if you are audio only listener.
Yes, YouTube. Yes, even if you're audio only, you said it exactly right. Please subscribe on the YouTube. That helps us more than anything else. John, I gotta say, I'm not gonna say who it is yet because we're a week out. But 1 week from tomorrow, a week from Tuesday, so that'll be, I think, the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
We are having perhaps the biggest guest we've ever had on the We Live for Saturday podcast.
Yep.
And I, for one, am really excited.
Same.
So I think we'll let everybody know. I think day of, we'll say, hey, this is our big exciting guest, and then hope you all check it out. But look for that. It's going to be, can we say the school? We can tease the school, I feel like.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are doing a Penn State preview.
Yeah.
And look out for, and also for everyone, we're going to be releasing all of these longer previews as shorter segments. So if you see a shorter segment and you're like, I've watched this before, it's possible you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
So thank you for all that, but please spread the word. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And I guess we will see you in the next one, which is going to be with our very exciting special guest.